Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So we see here Wall Street Apes is having a meltdown. He's freaking out that Philadelphia is becoming more Islamic. There's more Muslims, mashallah, and he finds this to be a huge issue. He admits though that Islam is one of the fastest growing religions. Again, he's trying to whistle here like, oh, we must stop them. You can't stop people from converting to religions. You cannot outlaw Islam and then let other religions continue to flourish. Like, you can't single out one religion and be like, sorry, you're not allowed to be Muslim in Philly. That's just not a thing. But notice here, he doesn't see the gang issue of Philadelphia to be a problem. Now, he points out a lot of black problems, which is odd. He doesn't really focus on any other ethnicity committing crimes. It's usually he just focuses on blacks. And again, now he's pissed off at Muslims. So it's strange. Very strange. Philadelphia, I went to school in Philly. I shouldn't say where I lived, but I was around Kensington, which is like fentanyl central, and I walked to school. I would take the L. It's not, how in slang there's like, oh, take the W, take the L. No, I'm talking about the actual train that goes above you when you drive. They call it the L in Philly, and I lived there with my mom, my little brother, and my stepdad. And it was not fun. And I didn't like it. And there's a lot of violence there. Lots of shootings. Lots of poverty. I mean, the schools are abysmal. So I always find it fascinating how people are freaking out over women becoming modest. And over men praying 5 times a day, giving up pork, giving up bad habits, stopping alcohol, like all the wonderful things Islam makes you give up in order to be a devout Muslim, they're melting down over. So there are strip clubs in Philly. Is he complaining about those? There are lots of gang territorial disputes. I haven't seen him mention that. But he's just upset that Muslims are praying, going to worship, right, in the mosque, that they gather. Just look at the pettiness. This is my point. Look at the pettiness of what they're freaking out about. Oh, look at these women covering. They're breaking free from sexual objectification. I think that also plays a deep role. They're offended that women are no longer eye candy. So one minute, oh, there's all these whores in Miami. Next minute, oh, women are covering in Philadelphia. And you're like, you guys can just never be happy. When a nun covers and she's walking around in Rome, oh, that's fine. That's so Western. Woman covers in Philadelphia, oh, you should go live in Afghanistan. Like, huh? What are you talking about? When that nun was talking to Tucker Carlson, she pretty much dressed like a woman from Iran. She wasn't told to go back to Palestine. They embrace her because she's Christian. Again, the more you look at the hypocrisy, the more you see these influencers melting down. It becomes hilarious. And I think it's great if it really, that Islam is becoming so popular in Philly. Good. Philly needs it. It's called the city of brotherly love, and yet there's just too much crime. I just am really blessed by Allah that I would walk home and my mom was known in the community, liked in the community. People left me alone for the most part, and I held my ground, and they knew that I would fight for myself and I was good at fighting, so people pretty much left me alone. But there was people on the corners slinging drugs. There was white girls all methed up and hunched over and picking their faces and stuff. You're just like, dang, this is odd. But you have to look at Philly and look at the problems, and you realize Islam's gonna fix the problems in Philadelphia. Because Islam says don't use intoxicants. Okay? Imagine the use. Cutting that out. Islam tells you to have more patience. Okay, cool. We'll have less impulsive people shanking each other. The high school I went to in Philly, it was like you had to have a TSA checkpoint when you go in. The uniforms were color-coded. So I went to the business school side of the high school. So our uniform was crimson, maroon, and then khaki colored pants. The other uniforms was white shirt and green pants, and then white shirt, blue pants. And on Fridays, you could just wear what you wanted. But when you went in, you had to put your backpack through the metal detector, like the TSA style, so they could see what is inside. You hand over your cell phone. They put your name on it. You pick it up after school. You have a name tag that shows your school ID that you scan when you go in. And you have to walk through a metal detector because there's so much violence. There's so much people with anger issues who have broken homes, and then they just snap and they wild out. And this is a big problem in Philadelphia. So the lack of nature, the lack of space, like just the design of how the homes, like the apartments are all right next to each other. I got to live right across the street from a library, so I was blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to just walk across the street and get to be in a library. But I love reading, so I kept myself out of trouble for the most part. But it's easy to loiter and then get you in some big old trouble in Philly. So again, mosques are a great place for young men and women to go learn and stay off the streets, because street culture in Philly is another thing. You go to get a Philly cheesesteak, it's the good kind where the grease is kind of soaking the bag. Put some ketchup on it, eating it up. You'll see somebody just pull over and pistol whip someone they don't like, and there's just so much violence. So much violence. And a lot of unrecorded violence as well, because the no snitching culture. So it would be nice if these accounts would focus on that. But again, they're just mad that Muslims are winning. And Islam is a religion that has a lot of strength to it. And when you have people who respond more to strength and the mightiness of Allah, it's no wonder that they want to convert. And Philly is got some really strong women there who know how to endure poverty and who have a lot of stress. So I can totally understand them wanting to embrace the religious garments of Islam and to just live another way of life separate from the hedonistic Americana way. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Join the blog.